Hey guys, it's Josh here, and in this video I'm going to talk about the awareness that unlocked my healing. Now, I'm going to share with you this awareness that I developed when I was about 17 years old that really did unlock a lot of healing for me. But before I go into that, I want to share with you what healing actually is and what it's not. Because a lot of people think that healing is like going to hang out with a bunch of men with your shirts off, like beating your chest, like yelling at each other. Or people think healing is like some woo-woo thing where you go to, you see a Reiki practitioner and they do some weird energy stuff on you. Or some people think that healing is going to the doctors and getting medication, right? And none of those things are healing. Healing is actually kind of like mental fitness. It's kind of like going to the gym, but for your mind, right? I really believe that when we start to look at our mind with a kind of mental fitness perspective, that's when we can actually heal. It's like if you're a fat person and you go to the gym, you're going to lose weight if you go to the gym and if you eat well, right? You're going to heal your, your weight issues. And if you want to get jacked and you want to get muscly and lean, you go to the gym and you train and you eat well. If you want to get a clear mind and you want to get confident in your mind and you want to really heal from some of your trauma, it's about treating your mind kind of like a muscle. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to share with you my personal story. I'm going to share with you the awareness that did unlock my healing. And before I do go into that, I just wanted to dive into the neuroscience of the mind and how it actually supports the things that I'm going to be talking about today. So your brain is not a muscle, right? Some people think that it's a muscle, and if I'm going to talk about mental fitness today, I want to make some clear distinctions, because your brain is actually not a muscle. Your brain is an organ, and it's the main organ for the central nervous system. So your central nervous system is made of two components, your brain and your spinal cord. And then from there, you have the peripheral nervous system and the autonomic nervous system, which come out of the central nervous system. And this is where you will hear things like the fight or flight mode, or the rest and digest mode, the sympathetic nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system. They are functions of the autonomic nervous system, which is made up of the central nervous system, which is the brain and the spine. So it's important to understand this stuff, right? Because what happens with your brain is your brain creates these electrochemical signals that they're like signals that go through the nervous system to the body. So let's just say with your healing, for example, you're someone who has a lot of anxiety, you never feel safe, or you feel like you're not good enough, or you feel like, you're constantly on high alert, constantly feeling like there's going to be threats to your life, constantly feeling nervous, or, like in this lack or scarcity mentality. Now, you've got to understand what's happening when you're having these anxiety attacks or these anxiety episodes or these self-doubt episodes is your body is literally going into this contracted state where you have these physical symptoms like shortness of breath, and maybe you sweat, or the color of your skin actually changes. Now, what's happening there is you're having these thoughts or these perceptions in your brain. So you're perceiving danger, or you're perceiving that you are not safe, and it's creating thoughts like I'm not safe, or I'm not good enough, or I'm in danger. It could be around your relationships, could be around your work and your boss, it could be around even just friends or even family. But what's happening is when you're having these sensory perceptions, which is that you are in danger, and then you start having thoughts of like, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be good enough, or no matter what I do, nothing ever works. Those kinds of thoughts send specific signals from the brain to the nervous system through the body. And those signals are going to create different chemicals and hormones in the body. So just to kind of take a bit of a check on, what I'm talking about right here, so I don't get too far ahead of myself. What I'm saying is that your brain sends signals to your body through your nervous system, right? That's what happens. And so when that does happen, your body starts to change, your physiology starts to change, but it all starts with your brain, right? So if you really want to heal, you have to start with the brain, right? Because it's kind of like this top-down approach where the brain is literally like the CEO of the nervous system. People talk about the nervous system, they talk about, healing the body and the somatic work and, all that kind of jazz, nervous system regulation, but they don't understand that it all starts in your mind. It all starts in your mind. And the brain is like, this top-down approach, right? It's like the CEO. The nervous system is kind of like, underneath the brain. It's literally underneath the brain. Your brain's up here, your nervous system's down here, right? So that's super interesting to understand. Now, that's the neuroscience that backs up what I'm about to say. So when you want to heal, you have to actually train yourself kind of like mental fitness, right? And this is what I did when I was 17 years old. I actually came to a spot not too dissimilar to this. I would come to the beach, right? It wasn't this view. This view's my new view, which is really, really nice. But it was kind of like this. It was not too dissimilar from this. I would come to the beach and I would meditate, right? But let me tell you about this awareness that I developed when I was meditating. Because the awareness that I developed was a limitless awareness. Limitless. Unlimited. Okay? Now, I mentioned before briefly that your brain creates these signals in your body based off your perception, what you perceive. So if you perceive danger, you're going to have danger thoughts, you're going to have negative thoughts, and they're going to send negative signals to the body, right? If you perceive safety, it does the opposite. It's not actually about, when people are healing, they're trying to think positively or they're trying to stop thinking negatively. It's not actually about thinking positively or not thinking negatively. It's actually about the perception of safety versus danger. This is what healing is all about, the perception of safety versus danger. So when I would come here and I would start to meditate, in the beginning, I was very scared and I perceived the world to be a dangerous place. So I would sit down and I would worry about, is there a snake behind me, or is there someone who's going to come out of the bushes and get me? If I could hear people in the distance, I would worry, are they looking at me? And I would have all of this perception of danger in my environment. And what happened over time, once I started to meditate and once I started to become aware of myself, and what I actually started to do was I developed this limitless awareness. So I expanded my sense of self from my person, myself, and I started to include the world around me. So let me just give you an example of this. What I want you to do right now is just imagine for a second everything in your awareness. So take in the surroundings, right? If you're like me, you can take in the tree there, right? You can take in the island out there. You can take in the ocean, the sky, the sand. I'm taking in everything that's in my environment. There's kids playing over there. There's the noise of the ocean. So I can see all of these things. I can hear the sounds. I can also feel the sun coming down. All of that is in my awareness. I'm also here sitting down in my body with the sand under my ass. But I can also expand my awareness to include everything in my awareness. And then I have an expanded awareness, a limitless awareness. The limit is as far as I decide to place it. Everything I can see is in my awareness now. So everything that I see is a part of me because it's in my awareness. I'm not separate to the world. All of the world is in my awareness, therefore all of the world is a part of me. And now let me just tell you what happens when you take this perspective. The world becomes safe. When I change my perception to I am a separate person and the world is out there and I am here, and when I change my perception to say I am the world, everything in my awareness is a part of me, it becomes very inclusive. It becomes very safe. I don't need to fear the world because I am the world. So my worldview, my perspective, and my awareness completely changes. I am the world. I'm not separate to the world. When you take that perspective and when you really own it and you end up embodying it and feeling it through a practice like meditation, you start to feel very safe. You start to trust the world. This is what happened to me when I was 17 years old. I used to come to the beach, I used to sit and meditate, and I used to expand my awareness to this limitless awareness that included everything. And over time, I moved from fear and anxiety to safety and trust, to calmness, to peace. And that was very healing for me. And I believe that can be a very healing perspective for everyone. When you shift your perception from danger to safety with a simple exercise like what I just told you, right? All you have to do is sit down and observe everything in your awareness. Don't be so stuck in your own little head about yourself and your problems. Expand your awareness. Include the rest of the world in your awareness. People probably would call this unity consciousness. This is unity consciousness, unity awareness, an awareness of oneness. When you develop that awareness and you really embody that awareness, fear and anxiety just disappear. And if you were to do that right now, while you're watching this video, expand your awareness out and to include everything around you and do that. Notice everything you see, notice everything you hear, notice everything you smell, notice everything you feel. And allow yourself to open your awareness up to all of that. And then tell me, what's the word that you feel? Write it in the comments, or even just write it down on paper. What do you feel when you allow yourself to open up to this limitless awareness? I guarantee you it's going to be something like freedom, safety. I feel a lot less pressure. I feel calm. I feel at peace. For me, I feel open. This awareness unlocked my healing. And all I did was I came to the beach and I would sit down and I would meditate and I would expand my sense of self. I would embody a limitless awareness. And over time, what happened in the brain was I moved from a perception of danger in the world to a perception of safety in the world. I'm not trying to fit in anymore. I know that I belong. And you shift from danger to safety. You shift from fear to faith. And you shift from being unsafe to being totally safe. You shift from being separate to being one. It's amazing. And so if you can work on embodying that, not just watching one YouTube video and kind of thinking, well, that was cool, but actually embodying it, right? And you do that through daily habits. You do that through consistency. You do that through a spiritual discipline. My meditation practice is a spiritual discipline. I show up and I do it consistently, not because I'm trying to fix my mental health, not because I'm trying to, improve my life, but because I am devoted to this unity consciousness, to this limitless awareness. Because I know that when I align myself with that, I'm aligning myself with the divine. I'm aligning myself with my purpose. I'm aligning myself with divine guidance, literally. And so that's why I've been meditating every day for the last 15 years. Actually, that's not true. I haven't meditated every day for the last 15 years, but that's why I have been meditating for the last 15 years. Right? It's been pretty consistent. I would say every other day, maybe 50% of days. Still not bad, right? So, if you want to go on a healing journey yourself, work on embodying this limitless awareness. Work on really connecting with it. If you would like some help with meditation, with going deeper, with expanding your awareness, overcoming your anxieties, and you want a proven and tested pathway, then come and work with me at Mind Launch. There'll be a link in the description. You don't have to. You can take what I've told you in this YouTube video and you can try it for yourself. You run with what I just told you, make a commitment to do that every single day, you'll be golden. But if you do want to go further, I can provide a step-by-step system with instructions and accountability to get you where you want to go. and I'd be happy to do so. So if you prefer reading, there's a blog as well in the description. I've been writing blogs for every one of these videos. So if you like to read as well, check out the blog. That's it for this video. I'll leave you with this beautiful view. And remember to make time for limitless awareness, to make time for your healing. It's not going to happen by itself. It'll happen when you devote yourself to the process, when you commit to the process. That's it. Bye. Peace.